The night before last, I got a phone call from one of the neighbors, and he told me that there was a deer down on my local beach, the same beach I got the coyote and all sorts of other assorted bones, where I go treasure hunting for bones. And he said that she had just been hit and that she had a little one around her and everything. So I said I'd be right down. And then as soon as I saw the body, I knew that rigor mortis had already set in. She had very bad liver mortis as well. So the meat was definitely gone. She had nursed this year. She had definitely had a fawn. The fawn had been weaned, because although the udders still had milk in them, it was really hard to squeeze out. And it wasn't just because she was dead that the teats were starting to dry. So we don't have to worry about the baby. The baby's old enough to fend for him or herself. Now, I'm going to show you the deer. It's going to be pretty graphic. This is the first time I've been back here since I put her. And although I'm not surprised at what I'm seeing right now, everybody else will be. And I'm just going to say that she's not in very good shape right now. And it's scavengers. She has been preyed upon by scavengers, or scavenged off of. So here is our little doe. Not so little, she is a big girl. But here she is. I warn you, this is extremely graphic. Here's our girl. She was approximately 4 years old. I can't show you right now because I don't have gloves. But if I were to open her mouth and show you her molars, she'd have about 3.5, 4 years worth of wear and tear and staining. You can see that the scavengers, the ravens, have been very active here. And how we know that it was ravens: number one, she's not ripped open. If she was ripped, that would signify a bear or a coyote or another scavenger with canines that can rip into that flesh. Our number one piece of evidence is on her face, and that is that her eye has been plucked out. It's not completely gone, I don't think. It's still holding on in there, but the bird has been trying to pull that eye out. Other evidence that a raven is what has been out here is right there. There is a raven feather. They're in their molt right now. So they're molting. They're going to be shedding feathers everywhere. Also, the way that her intestines contents have been splattered over the body means that they went in through her back end, which you can see right here. They went in through there and have been pulling everything out. And when they pulled out the intestines, of course, they would shake it to empty the contents, and that's why that is splattered. Now, I'm not really familiar with the anatomy of a deer, but I'm wondering what that is sticking out of her. Well, I'll find out. I think it's part of the hip that was shattered when she was hit by the truck. I do not think that she was pregnant, no, because her udders were not pronounced. When they're pregnant, their teats elongate. Now, her udder was definitely swollen. You can still see the milk that had soured in there. I'm not sure what I'm going to name her yet. That'll come to me at a later time. But this is our girl. She has been reported to DNR. They have her on file. They know that she's here, and they have no problem with me having her. They said that between February and May is the only time that they collect the roadkill deer for census. Other than that, it's just a matter of Department of Transportation picking them up and disposing of them on the body farm. This time of year, DNR has no involvement in roadkill cleanup. I guess it's not under their jurisdiction for whatever reason, which I don't... It just confuses me that they don't do that this time of year, because you'd think that they'd want an overview of all year, what's around all year, who gets run over and when all year round, and it's good to keep track, but I insisted on having the secretary at the office write down all of her vitals, the fact that she was around 4, she had nursed this year, and whatnot. But I'll keep you updated on her progress and her decomp, and all of the decoration and things that I'm going to be doing with her. This is day 4 of our doe's decomposition. When you look at her, you're going to say there's not a lot of difference between day 2, and that is correct. On the outside, the physical differences on the outside, there is very little difference. All of the decomposition right now is happening on the inside of the body. What happens after death is, within literally minutes after death, your stomach stops producing its protective lining, and your stomach acid starts to eat through the stomach walls and then into the rest of the body. So her stomach acid is now going right through and eating everything. Everything's being dissolved from the inside out. There's not a lot of smell on day 4 of the body, except for a bit of fecal smell. There's nothing. There is a small amount of an almost yeast dough-like smell similar to bread rising, and that is probably because of all of the stomach contents. Deer eat a lot of vegetation. So what we're smelling here is all of the gut flora eating away everything that's in there and digesting. You'd have a yeasty smell. It's how everything's fermenting. The ravens were successful in plucking out her eye today, or last night, whenever it was that they had done this. So that opens up a cavity for flies to go in and lay their eggs. The mouth is also open. That's another passageway. So what the flies will do is they'll go inside of every opening they can and lay their eggs. So within either later today or the next couple days, the eggs will be hatching. Now, even though it's a really cold, damp weather right now, the inside of the deer is actually very warm because all of that bacterial action is creating heat. So inside the corpse is the ideal temperature and moisture content for maggots. That's one of the reasons why bodies clean up so fast, is because it's so wonderful of an environment. Now that bone there, when I was thinking about it, that's her sacrum that's sticking out there. So her back was broken, so everything is misaligned. So that's why that's sticking out at the angle it is. The flies would also have been going into that opening and laying their eggs. So she's probably got thousands, if not millions, of fly eggs on her right now, all over and inside. So it won't be very long and we'll have maggots. So I'll come back in another couple of days and take another video so we can have a progression. It'll be a progression of decomposition until she's ready for harvesting. Day 6 composition is extremely noticeable. Where there was little difference between days 2 and day 4, day 6 is extremely different. There is a definite noticeable smell that is not pleasant. So excuse me if I sound a little bit muffled. I'm going to cover my nose and mouth. That way I can breathe better and I won't be affected by flies or smell or anything. Because even though I am used to this, I'm not impervious to it. Especially when it starts to get bad. Within the next few days, the smell will be so bad that I don't even want to come back here. But anyway, this is day 6 composition. You can see that the gut, where it had been bloated, has blown and deflated. Where it had deflated and some of the flesh has decayed and become softer, you can see that the ravens have successfully ripped a few holes in the stomach area there, which allowed them to pull out some more of the intestines for them to clean and consume. You can see there's also a lot more fly action right now, which is because of the smell. The smell has definitely attracted them more. than the other days when the flies would just happen upon it by chance. There is also another change in the color of the flesh. It has gone from blue colored to a more red. You can see a fly looking around for a place to lay their eggs. So again, as in from day 1 through to day 6, the flies are laying their eggs. There might even be billions of eggs on this corpse by the time the maggots hatch. Again, they are entering through the eye and mouth area. You can see a dramatic change in the face from day 2 to day 6. It has become more hollow and sunken. Right now the whole body is starting to relax. Rigor mortis is gone by now because the lactic acid in the body has dissolved and dissipated. You can probably hear the buzzing of the flies. There's an awful lot of them. So they'll probably be starting either where the last 2 days have been warm. The maggots will soon be hatching, and once they hatch, they'll start consuming the dough from the inside out. So by day 8, we'll see a very dramatic change in the appearance of this body. We'll probably see a lot of hair blowing as the maggots break through the skin on their way through consuming the whole corpse. So I'll come back in another couple days for day 8 to show you the difference. And I'll try to come back here every 2 days, but that really depends on work schedule and how bad the smell gets. It has been 4 days since I've been back here. I've been extremely busy with work. I've had no time to come back. It's also been raining, so I couldn't do this beforehand. Okay. I was coming back to see the deer, but there's no smell, and really weirdly enough, there is no deer. So I guess I did not have to bound my head when the body's gone. Let's see what evidence we have to help us figure out where our girl has gone. Eggplant, not touched. There is some digging here. Somebody's been digging. Let's see if we can find her. There's no smell. Everything here is pretty dry, so I'd say this was taken maybe 2 days ago. Okay, there's some old bones there. Okay, I smell something now. Okay, she was drugged from that location to over here. There's definite smell, and here's the tip of her ear. There's some hair. She had laid here for a while. Somebody pulled out her entrails and dug her. I'd say this would have to be a bear. Have to be. Okay, I can see her now. She was drugged here and left here for a little bit, and then she was pulled all the way down there. So I'm not going to go straight through this path, the path that the bear has pulled her. I'm going to circumvent around through the proper part of the body farm and meet you down there. My voice is going to sound very muffled because I have put the perfumed towel over my head. This is day 10 of decomposition. Now what happened is she was dragged down here by, I'm pretty sure it was a bear because this path is really beaten. They drug her down here. They're caching her to hide her. Now there's some rocks upturned, they've been digging. There's some blowflies. I'm going to try to get closer, but I really don't want to step in a lot of this. It is a mess. Let's see if her skull is still here. Lots of hair. I'm not expecting to find her skull. Here's the blowflies. Yeah, we're not going to find the skull. There's the ribs. A bear brought her down here and chomped her up good. So I suspect her skull is either somewhere in the wilderness or they took it off. Now, there's a lot of skin slippage here, a lot of rot. The next time I have a deer, I'm decapitating immediately. But then again, her skull might be under that mess, but I'm not going to touch it at all. So I'm just going to back off and get out of here in case the bear decides she's coming back for supper. I'm going to walk up through the drag trail just to see what evidence there is. I'm going to be constantly on the lookout for anything else, but you can see here, this is where the bear was digging. I would say the bear's probably sleeping here because it's very flat, very round. She drug her in through here. So I don't think I'm going to come back here for a while since we know that the skull is gone. So since the skull is gone, or I'm perceiving it to be gone, and it looks like a bear is sleeping here, I'm not going to come back here very often until long after, because one of my main things is to work with the skulls. I'm just going to do a quick sweep of this area. There goes a raven. I'm going to do a quick sweep of this area to see what else has been disturbed. Yeah, you can hear them. They're alerting to the fact that I'm here. Okay, here's the porcupine that I put back. Skull looks pretty good. This is one I thought that the skull was shattered, but it looks like just his teeth were broken. But he's decomposing quite nicely as well. Lots of quills. Gotta be careful. I'm constantly looking around me and listening in case the bear is back here so that I can get out of here before they come back. There's some porcupine body parts mixed in there with the raccoon. Oh, here's a nice raven feather there. See, you know we've got ravens. Just looking for more evidence. Here's something. I'm not sure if that is an animal's scat or not. Yeah, that is. That's like a bear had loose stool there. There's a lot of blowflies coming here. I mean, the deer, she's just in there. But there's a lot of blowflies around here. And this tarp's been disturbed. So this tarp used to be over there. I'm willing to bet there might be something under this. But I don't think I want to disturb it. There is a smell, but I think it might be her because she is, remember, the tip of my finger's touching is where she is. So she's right there. There's something through the woods there. The other side. It looks kind of furry, but I'll investigate that another day. That looks like a leg over there, like in the woods, way over there. Maybe I will investigate that now, because I don't hear any bears or nothing around here right now. So I'm going to go investigate what that is. Okay, I think that was just an optical illusion, but this is a path. Yeah, that's just a path, and what I thought was a leg is a piece of a stick that's shaped like a leg in the same coloration. So I'm going to get out of here. I'm willing to bet that there's something bound in that tarp. Yeah, there's something in there. Because the smell of this, the wind is coming towards me, so smell should be traveling that way towards the deer. There's something in that tarp. Deer's right through those trees. But it was definitely a bear that was chomping on her, the way that those ribs were cracked. And I'd say that she's probably moved there 2 days ago, 3 days ago. It's been really wet weather. But when the bear's done with that, I mean, she may or may not come back for it. When the bear's done, there will be a lot of stuff. So I'm going to monitor the location of the deer and keep you updated on the decomp after it's rotted down for another week. As I said, right now there's really no point of me coming back here every day, especially when we now know that there is a bear that's been eating. There is another smell coming around here right now. Something has entered the area. So I'm just going to take a little stroll out, because the smell that I'm smelling is not a decomp smell. It's a very animal smell, live animal. So I'm just going to exit the body farm, and we will come back in a week's time or 2 weeks' time when all the fresh meat has gone and the bear is finished. I'm just going to take a very quick stroll up this way to the shed just to see if there's anything I can see. Some of the ground looks trodden. So I'd say the bear's coming back here very regularly. I'm not going to be coming back here after dusk, because that is, dusk and morning is when they usually travel, because they're very nocturnal. So right now I'm probably very safe, but then again the bear might be just 100 feet that way taking a nap. So we'll find out. I'm not really disappointed that the bear has come and moved my body, because that's a natural thing. I mean, they have to eat too, and that's what they eat. And that's why the body farm is so far away from the house. That's so when the bears come, they can eat. Now, I keep the more clean stuff closer to the house, but that's because I've not had a problem with that stuff so close to the house. It's very rare that the animals want to eat it. Now, we did have a bear last month. It's probably the same one that's back there eating that deer. But I think they were just curious, sniffing around, seeing what was there. And then once they realized there's no fresh meat here, there's nothing edible, they left. So there's no real problem in having the bears around. I'm not one of these people who are going to say, oh, let's go kill it just because it's there, because that's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I like feeding them. I like having them around. They're not bothering me. They seem scared of me when I have encountered them. So there's no problem, and we'll see you in the next video.